So I will talk about IPR, inflow performance relationship, and nodal analysis. This is the production system that you will generally see in almost all the reservoirs. This is a simple representation, a schematic representation of the production system that you can see in almost all the reservoirs. Now, when you speak and discuss about reservoir engineering or petroleum engineering, one thing is most important, that is pressure. Each and every term that you govern here is governed by pressure. So pressure is the most important thing, and in fact in the production system also, what you will see here is the different pressure drops across the different reservoir segments. Okay. So the pressure drop for this reason is the pressure drop inside the reservoir. Now this pressure drop is what we call IPR, inflow performance relationship. What we plot is the PWF versus Q to get the IPR. Here the pressure drop is in against the sand facing and the wellbore, bottom hole wellbore. Here the pressure drop here is across the tubing. This WF minus TF is the tubing pressure drop, and the pressure drop here is due to the safety valves, triple SV. If you are having safety valves in the tubing, which you must have everywhere inside the tubing, will have safety valves. So the pressure drop here is due to the safety valves. Here the pressure drop is due to choke. Then you will have pressure drop in the flow line, the surface flow line. You will have pressure drop in the compressors, in the riser if it's an offshore facility. For example, here I have shown an offshore facility. So you're having a riser here also. You will have a pressure drop in the riser also. There are compressors in case of a gas. You will have compressor in case of oil. You will have pumps. Just like if you remember what Bhalla sir said, that you will have, if you are transporting oil or gas, especially in case of oil, then you need to have supplied pressure to it. So you need to have pumps for that, the discharge point, or what we call LAC, lease acquisition term, where the asset is exchanged between two different parties, the refinery and the E&P company. So when we talk about nodal analysis, what we basically do is that we govern the relationship at any node. Node is basically a point, and we govern the equations that happens in the pressure losses before that node. For example, let's see, I select a point here in the tubing. I select any point inside the tubing, and I find out all the pressure drops from here, because this pressure is our terminal pressure. Two pressures we cannot optimize. One is a reservoir pressure and another is a separator pressure. These two pressures are always fixed in almost all the petroleum engineering systems that you have. So we govern the pressure loss from here till the point that we take as a node, and develop an equation of that P versus Q versus the flow rate, because pressure will be dependent upon the flow rate. If you are having more fluid production, the pressure drop will be more. Now this is as simple to understand: more flow rate, more pressure drop. And just above that node also we generate the same equations, and then just like two simultaneous equations, we solve for P and Q at this node and get the value of P and Q to find out what is the node operating point pressure and operating flow rate for that. And generally this nodal analysis is done at the bottom hole, because the reservoir behaves in one way and the tubing behaves in another way. So this nodal analysis is kind of a systems analysis approach for analyzing the performance of reservoir. Systems analysis is what the chart I have showed you last time. Any kind of analysis on a system is called system analysis. So it's an approach for analyzing the performance of systems, like production path, which will include your reservoir, your sand face, your tubing. Two assumptions are there for nodal analysis. One is flow in is equal to flow out. Mass is conserved. Flow rate at a particular node, whatever volume is coming in, the same volume will go out. Nothing at any node you are not going to store something. And there is a unique pressure at a point. At any point a pressure is unique. Just one simple question. What is the difference between steady state and pseudo steady state? Anyone? In terms of pressure.
So pressure, constant pressure.
So what do you mean by a constant pressure? For example, I am having a pressure at this point P2. So is this pressure constant? Throughout the reservoir I am having P2 pressure? What's your name?
So Amritansh.
Okay, Mritansh. So what do you mean by steady state? Let's say this is a reservoir. I am having a steady state flow. What do you mean by that?
You're having a
I am having a steady state flow.
you're having a steady state flow.
Yeah.
So there
Let's
won't-
see the pressure at this point is P2.
So there
okay.
won't be a transient phase.
No, I am aware about talk that in terms of course, if you there are three different phases: flow, steady state, steady, pseudo-steady, and transient. Okay. So what do you mean by steady? Steady simply means, for example, at this point the pressure is P2. Okay, any pressure. Let's say 3000 psi. Okay. At another point the pressure is 2500 psi. So what it means that the pressure at any point will remain constant throughout the time. 3000 psi at any point will remain 3000 psi throughout the time, and 2500 psi at this point will remain. It doesn't mean that there would not be any pressure difference. Same P2 will not be there throughout the reservoir. And what is pseudo-steady state? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that is quite simple. When do you see that? I think he has just talked about that. When do you see that?
When there is a no flow boundary.
When there's a plateau phase.
Okay, no problem. When do you see a steady state? Steady state.
When there is a strong aquifer.
Okay. And when you see a transient?
It's just after there is a pressure change, the effect has not reached the boundary.
You're right in the concept, but can you tell me example? When you have, let's say when you have just started the production or you're doing a well testing, you will see a transient state till the pressure has not reached the boundary. Okay, what is pressure? How does pressure moves? Anyone? How does pressure moves?
Pressure gradient.
How does sound moves? Sound, I am speaking to you. How does sound moves?
Through a medium. Through a medium.
What waves? What waves it is? Is it a compressional wave? Is it a transverse wave? Is it like light? It's a compressional wave. It compresses. Pressure also moves in the same way. It is having a speed of. What is the speed of pressure movement? Pressure moves at the speed of sound. So if you have studied in, I think, choke restrictions, there is a critical flow. So you must remember that you must have read somewhere that as the speed of sound is achieved, there is no more critical flow. Okay? I think I should stand there because everyone is going out and coming inside. Am I that boring? I'm not hearing anything from the back. I think most of you are first year, second year back. Which year, guys? Yeah. Which year? Which year? Okay, I think I should concentrate here. It's no more going back. Okay. Now these are the all IPR equations that you will find generally. You must be conversant with this equation. J is equal to Q by del P. Q by PR minus PWF. Okay. This equation is valid only for undersaturated oil when PWF is greater than PV.
So could you repeat?
That was not in my presentation, but I just thought previously by his slide that many of you wouldn't understand. Steady state is a physical term. It has a significance in terms of pressure. In steady state, dP by dt is 0 at all the points. There is no change in pressure, but two different points will have different pressure because at the same pressure nothing will flow. In pseudo, what you will find is that dP by dt is a function, is a constant value. So pressure changes with time at any particular point as a constant function. Okay, so it's easy to quantize that. You can form analytical equations. For example, you all must have heard that all those equations of single well model, Q is equal to 2 pi kh by mu, del P by ln Re by Rw. That is derived for steady state. For pseudo also it can be derived because P is a function. So what comes in down is ln Re by Rw minus 0.75 plus S if you are considering skin factor. So that is for pseudo steady state. But transient nothing can be derived. Of course it can be derived. You remember all those books, big equation in well transient. So it's a very big equation. It's not easy. Okay. So this is the oil IPR that you will find. The well PI equation that is most common. This is the well PI. Q is by PI. J is the productivity index. So J is equal to Q by del P. Valid for undersaturated oil. PWF is greater than PV. This is the same equation that I just told. This will be derived from the same equation. Q is equal to 5 Kh by mu del P by ln R E by Rw. Just bring del P and Q one side and the rest is constant. Now this is only valid for undersaturated oil. Now when Wozer was a scientist who used to study all those, have all those data of pressure versus flow rate, and he tried to match those data in this equation. He couldn't find that the real data from the field was matching this equation. So he did lots of regression analysis of the data that he is having, and he formed another equation like this. Now this equation is valid for two-phase flow. Okay, two-phase, or this equation is valid. There is another Fedkovich when you have effects of turbulence. Then you have a Fedkovich equations where this and this equation is you find the pressure in terms of square. So it is a quadratic equation of pressure. This equation is also a quadratic equation with if n is 1. So these two equations are similar in nature, but this one is having another coefficient of n which can range from 0.5 to 1. So it has a wider range of acceptance. Then Jones model came, which was also based on Darcy equation, where he included two terms A and B. A is for laminar flow and B is for turbulent flow. Okay. Okay, this is the equation I was talking about. This is for infinitely acting radial flow, IARF. So basically what in nutshell you get in IPR is a curve of P versus Q. Okay. Now this will be dependent upon what reservoir geometry you are having, what reservoir behavior it is, what fluid type you are having. It will also depend upon what correlations you are using to get to that equation. For example, if I am using which of these correlations, okay, and it also depends upon the data set that they are going to have. For example, if you are performing a flow and want to record the Q versus P, so basically it is done in amount of time, in a duration. For 6 hours you flow the well and measure what is the average Q, because Q will also fluctuate with time, and you measure what is the bottom hole flowing pressure, and after that you stop the well and measure the sand facing pressure. So all those depends upon the test that you are having. This is simple productivity index. I will also try to skip few of the slides which are simple, so that no one else leaves the room. Okay, this is the Bozal equation I was talking about. One thing to remember, this is valid only when your water cut is below 50%. Okay, this includes your completion and perforation, pressure drop in the perforation and completions, but this doesn't include any damage. If you are having a simulated well, or if the well has been damaged, this doesn't include that. And for that, what was governed and what was edited in the Vogel's equation was to bring a flow efficiency term. Okay. So the flow efficiency is basically ideal drawdown and actual drawdown. Actually, I like someone coming inside, but I don't like anyone going out. So the flow efficiency is basically the pressure drawdown that is actually inside the reservoir minus PWF, and the ratio of ideal one, in which doesn't include the del P skin. The skin factor is not included in this. So based on this flow efficiency, different del P skin is get, and we actually go back to Bozal equation only to get the answer in this case also. So you will find that in case of simulated well, the flow efficiency is greater than 1. In case of a damaged well, it's less than 1. So this is the Jones IPR. Jones also founded his IPR method based on Darcy law itself, but it has different terms like A, B. A is for laminar flow. Then you have the term for reservoir, term for perforation, term for gravels. And the same way for the turbulence flow also you have the 3 terms for that. So these all equations are derived equations, analytical equations based on Darcy law. This is for the beta rate, the turbulent flow. So how do you, when you solve this equation, you basically do not go and solve all these values and equations, okay? It would be cumbersome and we are not aware about most of the values also. And in a reservoir, you will have different values for the same reservoir. You can have different PVT properties within the same reservoir. So you do not solve all these equations. You basically get the values from the field of PR and PWF and Q, and then we solve for A plus B. Okay, in tests. Basically, we do tests on the reservoir, on a well, to solve all these equations. And to get the value of A plus B. And to solve this, what we basically do in Jones method is that we draw a graph of del P versus del P by Q versus Q and get the slope of this and get the intercept. Simple maths, class 9 okay, even class 6 maths of intercept and A plus B, get the value of NB. Just remember, for this, we go for 2 stabilized tests. Okay, 2 stabilized tests to get the value of A and B. So this is the IPR. Most of you must have seen this done in your experiments, research or paper or something else. So what we see before the bubble point pressure is achieved is a kind of a straight line because it's a single flow. Yes?
So but stabilized test you mean at a particular stable production rate?
Stabilize is very difficult to quantify, but it generally means that after 72 hours of a production rate, you will find out for even 48 hours, the production rate, what you are saying is correct, but it's not always that happens. Okay, it should be nearby stabilized. Okay, so it's near about 72 hours. If it's not stabilized, then it means generally what they do is that they take for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. Okay, but stabilized means at least 48 hours. This is the reason below the bubble point pressure where you will find a curvilinear graph. Okay, this point is called AOFP, absolute open hole pressure. Okay, absolute open hole flow potential, sorry. And this is the production rate at which your well is open to flow. You are not having any tubing. Okay, let's say you are not having any tubing. What is the production rate? Then this kind of. Have you heard about spindle top? Spindle top? Texas. Do you know what was happening? How much oil was being produced in that? It was producing about 1 lakh barrels of oil per day. Everything was gushing out, coming at the surface. The whole village was drowned in oil. So that is what I am calling absolute open hole flow potential. You have nothing to stop. Everything is getting produced. This is the effect of depletion on an IPR. Okay, as the reservoir gets depleted, the IPR shifts. The same IPR is now throughout the lifetime of the reservoir. As the pressure drops, simple to understand. PR, reservoir pressure decreases. Okay, so the graph has to shift. In case of gas reservoir, 2 things come into play. One is compressibility. The compressibility comes into play, and second is the variation of mu and z. In case of oil reservoir, mu and z are considered to be constant. In case of gas reservoir, they cannot be considered constant. They are either considered as this. The pressure is considered to be a function of P by mu by z. Or in another way out is for at a low gas rate, what we can do is that we can have a average value of mu by z. Arithmetic average we take mu by z at the 2 pressure extremes, we take an average value. And so what the well Pi comes is always in square. Just remember always, gas reservoir IPR will always have P terms in square. Okay, oil will not have P terms in square in most of the cases, but gas will always have P terms in square. And the rest are almost like the same as we have discussed. This is the back pressure test. This was discovered by I think Mines of Bureau, USA. They did that. This N value 0.521. This is to take a chord of the turbulence flow. Okay, as you move towards 1, the turbulence is less. As we move towards 0.5, more turbulence is happening. Okay. Now for this, you need 1 stabilized point, back pressure test. This is the same Jones IPR that you are having in both oil as well as this.